Oh, I got my microphone in front of me. Hello, everyone. This is Ranger XRX, and today it is actually noon East Coast time. I'm going to be doing a PC building simulators stream in an existing career. Uh, Top left of the screen, it shows that I got 277,000 in the bank. I think there's a Steam achievement for reaching a million. Um, and I'm just going to be grinding. I got burned out on playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, and we're going to do something different today. So we're going to put out the social media stuff. There's Discord. I'm on it every single day. That is the best place to get a hold of me. Also on X, which apparently is about the only credible news source that remains at this point in time. So there. No matter what you may think of what's going on, it's not the right that's calling for censorship. So, so, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the game. And currently where I'm at is I have nothing on the benches. I have a couple things on PC Bay. I ended up with this. I had a build that somehow I didn't complete in time and it expired, but it was a build job I accepted through email. So I don't know how that expires. Maybe the time, I don't know. But then I got a bunch of fans. So it's interesting because one of my favorite build cases is the Be Quiet 601. I was having a problem with a specific motherboard on it. Anyway, what I'm actually playing around with right now is a couple things. I'm playing around with PC Bay because it takes a lot of work to do a job that comes through email. So I'm trying to make some easy money. So right now I have a build that's on PC Bay. This is a brand new computer, all brand new parts. So I did all this testing earlier today. I was able to increase my 3D Mark score from 8442 to 10267 by overclocking the CPU and the GPU to stability. Did find out I prefer to have the radiator, the AIO radiator, top mounted. But this Asus Z370 Pro motherboard has a block or something on it that prevents it from doing that in this particular case. So I'm going to have to reevaluate a build for this just because I don't like mounting it in the front. It looks okay in the front, but anyway. So basically, this costs $2671, $2781, I guess. And I'm testing how much I'm going to get for it. So currently it's out there. It's got 4 bids, 3 days remaining. If I don't at least completely recoup my cost plus $500, because that's what I'm looking for, is I need $500 to do any work. Otherwise, it's just not it's not it's not cost effective for the amount of time I'm actually putting into this video game. Because my goal is to get to $1 million. Not going to happen this stream, that's for damn sure. So if it one day remaining, if I don't at least meet that cost plus $500, I'm going to pull it from PCBay and just keep it to sell as a brand new build. So we'll do that. Let's go to email. Do we have any parts that are coming in tomorrow? We're on the 19th. We have no parts. The parts coming in on the 21st. That's fine. Let's see if we can do it. We can pick anything up. So that's expired. We ignored it. That's fine. Expired. Expired. So see, this is kind of weird because the game does have diagnose and fix. Hey, my PC doesn't work. Figure out what's wrong with it. By the way, clean it up. It's got porn tube on it. Run a virus check. That kind of crap. And then you get these that just tell you literally lead you by the nose. Replace the motherboard. Replace the air cooler. Well, if that's all I got to do to meet this ticket, I can just see what they have right now and buy it. Problem is trying to transfer this information. The game should have made it where I could just copy this, but I can't. And I can't click behind it and have that pop up there. So, yeah, there's that. So I would have to say Z370 Aors. All right. So then come over to the store. All right. So if I go back to shop, so there's a Gaming 7 and an Ultra Gaming. He has a Gaming 7. So if his budget's $500 and that one piece is $250, that only leaves me $250. So that's the motherboard, and I got to replace the air cooler. So what kind of air cooler does he have? CryoRig H5 Universal. So I'm trying to minimize the amount of typing that I do here. So the first problem is I'm looking at this and I'm actually wasting my time right here because it's only $174. So I'm going to look around. It's $324. I'm not going to do... Yeah. So this is the minefield. Overclock the CPU to $49.75. I have a budget of $1,100. Well, the first problem I have is can his configuration even be overclocked? So it ends in a -I and it ends in an XT. So a 3800 XT, what does that come out of the box as? So it comes out at 4700 megahertz frequency. He wants it 4975. That's less than, that's 3 steps. Anyone's custom water cooling only for the CPU. So that's going to require a CPU block, a radiator, and for 324, that's a lot of work. Plus, I'm going to be ordering from 2 different shops. We're going to discard that. Power supply, hard disk drive. It's doing $1. So this is expired. Expired. Let's clean up our email. $3D Mark score of 16. See, this is just $500 is the payday I want. But there's just so much shit that's buggy here. Hey, what's up, Uther? Good day, man. I have builds that can get me there. They want a 3D Mark score of 1600. I have actually I don't have a current build. Overclock. Actually, it have to be dual GPU. And it's going to cost $6,550. And they're wanting a $5,250 budget. So even though that labor is right where at the point I need it, I'm looking for $500 paydays. I have to reject this because just so much shit could go wrong here. Oh, I am going to give you a shout out because you're the only other person watching and you need to be watching that dude's stream. So basically what I'm doing is I'm enjoying a crisp beverage, diet caffeine-free Coke. Not to be confused with alcohol, which I will be consuming later when I watch your most excellent stream. So, fun fact, after I've rage quit Pathfinder Kingmaker for like the 18th time this week, I think I'm on my 4th reinstall. I actually have the game that Larian Studios did. They may have done a game between them, but they did a game before Baldur's Gate 3 called Divinity Original Sin 2. And watching you play BG3 the last several weeks, I'm really going to probably take a strong look at putting back in, reinstalling Divinity. I have all the Divinity games. It's one of those deals. I mean, Steam has all these, you know this. I'm preaching to the choir here. Steam has all these sales, and basically it does nothing but line Gabe Newell's pocket and bloats my library because I buy games that, I mean, this is first world problems, and I'm not bragging. It's actually sad. I have games that I bought years ago that I haven't even installed and played yet. So I have Divinity. I have Divine Divinity. I have Divinity Original. I have Divinity Original Sin. I have Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition. Original Sin 2, which Original Sin 2 was like the balls deep best game of that series until they made the juggernaut that is Baldur's Gate 3. But even though it's a different story, it's very similar mechanics, verticality, same type of turn-based combat, that kind of crap. So I'm looking into that pretty hardcore. But for this, I'm not going to do this job. It's just no, and it tells you level 23. It's a hard job, so I'm just going to reject that outright. This is another trap. Nice payday, $464 labor. But you want me to overclock and have it ready for you tomorrow, which means I'm having to pay for next day shipping, so I'm losing $30 right there. Like to know my thoughts on that game. I've played Divinity Original Sin 2 a couple times in the past, but I have, if I were to show you my desktop right now, I have probably 18 different games installed, and Obviously, no one can play 18 different games and be proficient at 4 of them, let alone 18 of them. Hell, I got burned out on PC Building Simulator well over a year ago and put it down because of the grind. And after I got so accosted and needing an adult after what Kingmaker did to me, I needed something different, totally different. So that's why I went back to this punishment, which is its own level of hell. So we're going to reject that one. I'm not going to pay next day shipping just to find out I misordered a part because I can't hit 4400 megahertz. I reject that. So this is just a straight up nice payday. $346, diagnose and fix. And this game is really easy. All you do is you take everything out of the rig. Well, first, once you get it in the shop, you try to turn it on. And if it doesn't turn on, then you remove everything and then look at your inventory. Whatever's broke, you reorder. The game's never going to put you in a situation where your budget for the customer is too low to order the bare minimum requirement to fix it. So none of these are truly a trap. They're just bizarre difficulty spikes. Kind of like Kingmaker. Kind of like walking in one door and killing everybody in the room and then walking in the next door and game over. Fuck you, Owlcat. All right, so the other good thing about this is there's no time limit on this, which means I don't have to pay for next day shipping. Anything that deducts from my $277,000, I'm going to do. So can't believe my PC broke. It's not immediately obvious what's gone wrong, but you have to do some digging. Sometimes it just locks up when I try to run it on. That's porn tube, so I'm going to have to scan for viruses. Is it possible the PSU has failed? Whenever they drop a hint like that, that's exactly what it is. Don't try to pass off any used, which means it's new. Plastic lime. Ooh, this could be a trap. See, the other thing in this game is they have a service called Bongle. And you have a Bongle rating, which is X3X Corporation is me, and I get these reviews. This is a star system up here. What this star system does in this game, I honestly don't know. I got a couple hundred hours in this game, and I still haven't figured out what the star system does. But I've fallen into a couple traps. This one, I didn't even know it until after I looked at the numbers. I went over the customer's budget, so they got a 1-star review there. And then sometimes you do exactly what they ask for, and you get dinged a star for what you just... Like this. I'm very happy with my motherboard. Well, no, nobody's happy with their motherboard. I mean, this is what they're happy with their PC, and I cleaned it up really nice. Did everything they wanted, but I got dinged for something, and the game doesn't really give you feedback. I like the new PC, 1 star. What? Fuck? What? Anyway. So I need to make sure I have plastic lime, black, light, gray. That's just so oddly specific. Lime. What? Plastic lime, black, light, gray. There is no such thing. Oh, here it is. It's going to make... I'm going to have to pay $400. The cost of those cables, even though I buy it once and I'll have them forever. It's like an infinite supply. Problem is $400, and this is the first person out of hundreds of hours of playing this game that's even asked for this. That exceeds what I'm going to make. Nah, I'm going to reject that. It's not worth it. This is easy. Level 6, straight up replace PSU HDD. Make 214 bucks. I can tell right now what I need because they're not going to give me bullet point objectives and it be something else. So he's a Silverstone fanboy. I don't know why. So if he needs a power supply unit, he already has an ST1300. So, and this is the other thing. If you play the game long enough, you start to get bored of doing this. Should be able to just click on something and instantly load it in the store. So that's $300. Not bought it yet. I just put it in my cart. And the hard disk drive. I have a hard disk drive. He has 1 terabyte, 64 megabyte cache. But he wants new products. No, he doesn't say anything about new products, but I do have a new hard drive that surplus. It's only 500 gigabytes. I wonder if I can just put that in there and that be that thing. Or am I going to get dinged for... Yeah, I'm not going to dick this dude up. So he has a Barracuda 1 terabyte, 64 meg cache. So that's 60 bucks. So right there, because there's no time frame, I'm going to do 3 to 5 working days. That's 360. That's within his budget. So the other thing too is it's very easy to lose track of what's going on in this game, so you do have to take notes. Brown. Budget 600. Mark this blue until I actually order it. We'll go ahead and accept that. There's no time frame. Easy job. I don't need any information on that. $413. That's getting close to where I want to be earning. So this is just a trap. I mean, hey, I want a CPU to hit 5200 megahertz. Can you overclock it for me? Well, to get the overclock accomplished, you have to actually overclock it, which means you can't buy a CPU that has 5200 megahertz because then it's not overclocked. And if you hit 5300, does that mean you get the thing or do you don't? This is just a trap. It's a straight up trap. Nice payday, but no. $400 for a diagnose and fix. Needed to repair my rig. Can you diagnose what's wrong with it? A cable wouldn't fit, so I forced it. Now the thing's not working, so can you do that before? Blah, blah, blah. Have you heard of ASUS? They're meant to be pretty good. Do you like cable modding? I saw some great. Plastic white blue. So there's another $400. Let's see what we got going on here. I should be able to just highlight text in the email and then search in the store. Plastic striped, plastic pattern, blue, white. Plastic, white, blue. Plastic pattern, white, blue, white, blue, white, white, blue. So this is blue, white. So that wouldn't satisfy it. This is red, white, and blue. And then this is white, blue, but it's striped. So this is such a trap. And I'm not going to spend $1,200 just to hope that I get the correct one. Goodbye. Now this is something I can do. Joy of Flight. I actually have a rig that can do this. So Joy of Flight, will it run? He's not asking for recommended specs, but I always build the recommended specs. So it's a i5 6600K. What is my dead stick? Ryzen 5 6 core 1600X. GTX 980 versus 5600 XT. So I just don't know if this build will run that or not. Wait a minute. I have a PC I built that I have on PCBay right now. 1271. And he's willing to pay me $518 for a budget of $6,500. So all I really need to do is get that Be Quiet out of here, put the program on it, and see if, well, see, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. He wants, this actually might work because he wants Seagate. Seagate makes the hard drives in this game. So this is all new stuff. I power this beast in, and then I'm going to see. I'm going to remove it from PCBay. All right, so I need to put in flash drive because I need to install a program. Go into BIOS. Make sure RAM's overclocked, XMP is on. Make sure we have our M.2 selected. All right, so what we need to do is add will it run on this computer, and then look at the game he's wanting. All right, so he's wanting Joy of Flight recommended spec. This computer I have that I already pre-built meets that, and it's within his budget. So I'm going to uninstall this, and I'm going to sell him this computer. Even though I built this rig brand new, I put it on eBay or PCBay, pulled it off, so it's not been in a customer's hands. So it should, all these parts should still be treated as new by the game. Just make sure it boots. All right, so let's shut down. We're going to, this is Vivid M. We're going to accept the job, get the ticket, place the ticket on the rig, and then look at the rig. There we go. Missing cables. What? Oh, fuck, bro. All right, now I got to boot it back into. Make sure it can boot. Just power it on. We've already confirmed XMP for the memory and the boot drive, so we're good there. Just shut it down. Should be good to sell it now. I'm thinking of building a new gaming rig for me for Christmas. I'm thinking about buying a pre-built for both my wife and myself, simply because we're on Windows 10 machines that unfortunately cannot be upgraded to Windows 11. And I have a list of like 6 or 7 pre-built manufacturers, and I have rigs selected, but I'm waiting for a good sale. I think the first stab at that is going to be Black Friday deals. And the big one that I waited for, and just to put it out there, I wasn't going to buy anything until I found out who was going to win the election, because that could have, I didn't want to make a substantial purchase and have the economy be in shambles, if that makes sense. What I'm looking for, believe it or not, I'm looking at a new system integrator that came out about 2 years ago called StarForge. They're a company that's run by a consortium of Twitch streamers such as Soda Poppin, Asmongold, Mizkif. And there was a company called Artesian Builds. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. About 2 years ago, they were a system integrator that built pre-builts and had the website, had the warehouse, the facilities, all that crap, that was run by just a complete dirtbag. And that dirtbag on a YouTube stream did something that just tanked his company. Somebody won a contest to get a new gaming PC, and because he didn't like her, live on the stream, he selected another person. And that was the end of the company. It took a couple months, but then after that imploded, Artesian Builds split up and they formed 2 different companies. One of them, I don't even know the name of it. It's being run out of some dude's garage. A lot of the other people went and were hired by this consortium of Twitch streamers called StarForge. And about 2 or 3 years ago, they started their first PCs, and it was an absolute fuck show disaster. They were getting returns. People were blasting them. They were pieces of shit. But somehow they turned it around and now are very well respected, heavily reviewed on YouTube. I mean, you got places like Gamers Nexus, Linus Tech Tips, um, other YouTube review channels that are secretly buying computers from Starforge through third parties to obfuscate who the purchaser is so they won't get special treatment. And they're bringing in their PCs and putting them through grueling tests. And um, Starforge has really upped their game. The other thing, too, is they got a decent price point. I mean, my lord, man. I personally, as for a gaming PC, I would love to have a gaming PC that has an AMD 7800 XTX. Hey, what's up, Soul Assassin? How you doing, buddy? Long time no see, man. I would like to have this AMD XTX. I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's their high-end graphics card that has 24 gigabytes on it. But the problem is you can't get that card from most system integrators. Some of them just don't even offer it. And it's not a new card. It's been out for a couple of years now. But to my knowledge, there's nothing on the NVIDIA spectrum that matches 24 gigabytes of onboard VRAM. So the other thing, too, is the only reason I'm looking at a computer is because of Windows 11. I cannot upgrade to it because of whatever this crap is that I can't. If it were me, I would not buy a new gaming computer. Why? Because all the games I play perfectly fine on this Windows 10 machine. I'm sitting here freaking streaming PC Building Simulator. I can stream Grand Theft Auto 5 at 1080p and it looked great on the stream. There's no reason for me to upgrade. Except, yeah, there's a chip on the motherboard that Windows 11 requires. So I think that, personally, I think that's horseshit. I think that's planned obsolescence. I think that's just a convenient way for them to force you to buy a new gaming PC or a new PC, period. I'm not going to get a new PC for myself and not buy one for my wife. She doesn't play video games like I do. She watches YouTube, she watches Netflix, and plays Facebook games. But she too is in the same position that her computer, which works perfectly fine. And I'm not one of those guys that goes out and upgrades their cell phone every year. There's no reason to. I've had this MSI computer since 2016. I mean, I started streaming in 2018. It's been with me every step of the way. I have a crappy HP business, probably it's business monitor. It's got 2 milliseconds response time, so that's really good for actually an office monitor, but it does perfectly fine. I'm looking at this game and it looks great. I mean, I see orange. So this was a pre-built that I did. Meets all the specs. So let's see. I'm getting a 500 payday. Let's see what type of review I get. 5 stars. There we go. So even though the budget was 6,500, I've seen bad information on the internet that suggested that if the budget's one thing and you deliver the PC under budget, you recoup the difference of the budget. No, in this game that's not true, and it just showed it right there. I only made the cost of the parts plus the labor. This is what I made, $518. So I'm going to probably buy at least 10 sets of that system and get that out there. That should actually increase my Bongle rating. Yeah, again, I don't know what the rating does mechanically in the game, but there you go. This is another trap. He wants it done in 2 days. AOI water cooling is not a problem. That's all I pretty much do anymore. I don't do air cooling. But this 3D Mark score, that's just a trap. I'm not gonna do. So I do need to come over here. What I am going to do is I'm going to pre-order a build. So parts ordered. So I ordered that. So that's now green. These are actually all green. These are coming in. It's on my delivery schedule over here. The funny thing is that most new games still run on Windows 7. Why would you even need Windows 11? Exactly. I only got Windows 10 because I wanted a new gaming PC. I upgraded to that point from a Windows 7 Gateway. I had an old Gateway computer. I don't even remember what graphics card was in it. So right now I'm playing on a GTX 1070. And they're already talking about I saw information online today about, even though the 500 or the 5000 series of Nvidia cards hasn't hit the street yet, they're already putting out specs for the 6000 series. So I'm already like 4 generations behind. But the shit I play doesn't need a 2070, which you can't get anymore. I mean, you can buy it on, well, I wouldn't suggest Newegg because I saw something today that's Newegg's gone to hell. But no system integrator is going to sell a rig with a 2070. They just don't buy them. The same with the 3070s. If you find a system integrator like Starforge that offers a 3070, it's because they happen to have one sitting in the garage that they hadn't sold yet. But like I said earlier, I can load up GTA 5, which I still have installed on this computer, and it looks great. Even though, yeah, that's a, what is that now? An 11-year-old game? So there's no reason for me to upgrade except like what Uther mentioned. Apparently there's something on the motherboard that Windows 11 requires. So I hope Windows isn't going to become like, oh, you're going to get the new iPhone this year. Why? How about a subscription mouse? Because we want to bone you in the ass deeper than you've been boned to date. All right, so I'm gonna get my highest. What did I do? So this is what I did. I pulled this down. Problem is the motherboard. It's tough motherboard screwing me over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plot this in. What? There's that. $1080. Don't laugh. Yeah, the game's kind of dated. I don't want the Founders Edition. That's $870, but I'm gonna hit this just for the price point. So what I need to figure out now is I don't like the Asus TUF. So what I'm gonna do is go with, we're gonna make this, it's gonna be an Intel build, so the 9700K. So here we do the Asus TUF Z370 Pro. Is that? Yeah, that's what's fucking me over though. I don't want that. Dead stick build. See, I never benchmarked this. This is a $2,700 computer. Just a 20. What is actually, I'm going to look at it this way. Find out what the architecture of it is. So it's an LGA 1151 socket. We're going to look at motherboards. Is there anything that I can get away with? So I'm looking at this wrong way. I need to do something I've already done. With its UI being so ad influenced, it can only be crappy system. Are you referring to Windows 11 user interface being ad influenced? I hope to God they're not going to start pushing ads to my operating system. Fuck that shit. I'm starting to get no, I'm not going to pay a premium to just get ad-free operating system. What is this horse shit, people? It's like BMW with their fucking subscription heated seats. Fuck you. My God. Promised I wasn't going to do this. Wasn't going to do this. Oh. What about the MSI 370? What does that board look like? Oh, that's Coffee Lake i7 9700K. i7 9700K. It's got to be the same socket. See, but it's got that same damn thing. Fucking. Well, I know the Tough Gaming Pro blocks my AIO from having a vertical orientation, so I'm gonna go with this one. So there's that. There's Founders Edition. There's the motherboard. So I'm going to say this is going to be test build. Mass. Get this in here now. Will it allow vertical AIO? All right, so we're going to actually go back and pick up everything from here. We're going to have to re-benchmark this, but that's fine. So we got that. I don't care about having that blocked out. What I do care about is this. So this is a 4000 megahertz board. Get out this information. All right, so we need to get the memory. Get the M.2. Get the hard disk drive because you need to put all those Steam games that you bought on sale that you'll never play somewhere. $850 is sufficient for this build. Actually, I think it's overkill. But what do I know? I haven't built a computer since 2014. All right, so Silent Base. go with the clear. All right, so I should have the 140 millimeter fans right now in my inventory. I have 2 left over, so I'm not going to order those. Get rid of this information. I don't care about that. I don't care about this. Don't care about this. So we need to benchmark this. Actually, you know what? I don't need to benchmark it because I'm making a mass-produced computer just to sell. And I'm going to put the fans in there anyway, just so I can get a correct costing. All right, so on this, I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 parts. Don't. What am I missing? I have the CPU, I have the GPU, I have the motherboard, I have the memory, I have the I have the M.2, I have the hard disk drive. I have the case, I have the 2 fans. Oh, I didn't get the Kraken Z73. There we go. So we got 2286 minus $10 shipping minus the first 2 parts, which aren't to this build. $360. That makes $1916. I do actually want to benchmark it though. I want a non-OC benchmark it. I don't want to overclock it. 3D mark. Ordered for test build. And if everything fits, then shop 3 to 5 working days. You know, I'm gonna do next day delivery just because I want this shit in my shop tomorrow. I'll pay for that. So let's go ahead and end the workday. Go to work, pick up my inventory. So the first thing I want to do is I want to build the computer that I just did. So we're going to put this here. All right, start with the motherboard. Oh man, I hate, what is that controller array up there? It's going to block the AIO just like the fucking Asus Toughboard did. Fudge, Muppet. Thermal paste. Install the memory. Needs to be in slots 2 and 4. All right, got that. We need our M.2. Need a hard disk drive and our power supply. 4 terabytes, that's mine. Install power supply, thermal take. Gotta remove the bracket. I don't like how they automatically rehook that up without giving you an opportunity to put the shroud back on. Alright, so we'll put that back there. Video card, we're going to need to remove second and third slots. Install. We're going to need... This is really what it comes down to. This is correct. Yay! It will allow for the vertical mount of the Kraken. Yay! Alright, so that's huge. Alright, so that's cool. Alright, so now we need to put in our fans. Ah, I should have taken them out. I overbought the fans. I only put them in to get a price point, and I forgot to remove them. That's fine. If we mass produce this as our money maker, then I'll just use up those 2 pieces of inventory naturally. So there's 3 fans, 3 on the radiator, 1 on the exhaust. All right, what else do I have? That's for the diagnose and repairs. Am I missing anything else? Should be able to install the operating system now. Need to go into BIOS and change XMP, overclock the memory, and switch the boot drive to the M.2. Enable XMP, M.2, apply changes and restart. Alright, first things first, we're going to put our custom wallpaper on here. Actually, we need to get the programs in first. 3D Mark. We don't need a virus scan because we just built it. Not sure about lighting. GPT tuner, I might overclock it. Cloud notes. I think we might keep this as just a baseline computer in the shop. Set wallpaper, yeah. Let's go ahead and restart. get our custom wallpaper. Documents. Streaming. PC building simulator. All right, let's, what can we do for lighting? All right, so that's good. And we're going to do a benchmark on this. All right. So this will take a few moments to run. Fortunately, there's no way to speed this up. It's funny because some of the shit in this 3D Mark test environment looks really cool. I mean, it actually looks really cool as shit. I don't fucking get it, man. Sam's Club gas prices are actually higher than what you can get outside of Sam's Club. I just don't fucking get it. What am I paying for a membership for? All right, so these numbers aren't good. 75, 68, 96, 90, 76. So we need to do some work. So this is some work that I did earlier today, and it's not going to be a one-to-one because I changed the motherboard. Hello? Is my game crashing? Seriously? All I did was copy and paste. Might I ask what the price of BJ's gas is right now? Because right now, Sam's Club in Daytona Beach, the gas is $2.89 a gallon. Problem with that is driving to Daytona Beach from where I live, we pass several gas stations that are selling gas for $2.50 or less. And that I don't understand how for 2 weeks now they're still at 289. I think my game crashed. What the fuck? Chuck E. Cheese. Alright, so I think my game crashed. Yep, here we go. PCBS.exe is not responding. If you close the program, I'm going to wait for the program to respond. This is the first time I've had this happen with this game. This is interesting. Very interesting. copy and paste as a Windows functionality exists within the game, because you can copy and paste from a notepad to the shop as you see me do. But maybe I copied way too much stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for this. We're gonna close the program. It kills that there. So let's go ahead and not going to verify the integrity of game cache. I don't believe I wouldn't need to do that. We'll just relaunch the game proper. There is music in this game. I don't know if it is copyright music though. I guess I'll find out. By that I mean, I know that whenever I stream GTA 5, I'd go back and look at my VOD on Twitch and all the volume would be deleted because of DMCA. We'll see, oh no. Oh no. You mean I gotta rebuild this whole that sucks balls. That sucks balls, Batman. Well, I guess we get to do this all over again. I think this music is custom made to this game. I don't think it's I'd be surprised if I got muted on Twitch. Yay for vertical mounting.
Gotta think through each component decision. Building the ultimate PC is my vision. We can BIOS the app to disk utilities. Construct this beast to the best of my ability. Buy off the shelf.
Uther, when do you plan on streaming starting your stream for Baldur's Gate 3 today? If you don't mind my asking. Give you another shout out here.
It powers all things with the greatest of ease. Cranking up overpowered clock speeds. Next up comes the random access memory. Yo, minimum 64 gig, invest heavily. Choose a named brand, it's freaking pedigree. You'll notice the change in performance incredibly.
Yo, I got these games where I gotta store them.
Solid state discs for I just
Alright, somewhere between 3 and 3:30. Excellent.
space to spare these discs, you know I'm filling them.
Alright.
Gotta think through each component decision.
Case fans. Yep, we gotta put 2 in the front.
And the ultimate PC is my vision.
The case only comes with 2 fans, one exhaust and one in the front.
Construct this beast to the best of my abilities.
I don't know why, I just like the way this case looks.
Graphics don't come for free. For my GPU, the RAM has got
If I were to build my own PC again at some point in the future, I think I would probably seriously look at this case.
whole thing cool with external water system. If there were better choices, yo, I must have missed them. Fill the case up with LEDs.
Alright, cables. So before I copy and paste anything this run, I'm going to make sure I save the game. We're gonna actually do sleeve braided plain orange.
Building the ultimate PC is my vision. Tweaking BIOS to apps to disk utilities.
Not as bright as the other one, but
This beast to
it's
the
okay.
best of my abilities.
Missing cables still? Oh, power. Duh. Alright. Install the operating system, set the boot drive, make sure we overclock RAM. Alright, RAM overclock, XMP on. Settings M.2. So the system, it's 149,135. Alright. Alright, so before I do anything, I'm going to save the game. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're going to install... I want to check out system info. I haven't looked at that in a long, long while. And we're just going to do the virus scan anyway, even though it's a brand new build. Could have came with McAfee. Alright, let's go ahead and set the company wallpaper. Skull and Bones? What the hell do I have a Skull and Bones folder for? Oh yeah, that fucking game. Alright, so we'll set the lighting. They should allow you to... Well, they do let you set the values. Interesting. I like that orange anyway, so we're just going to go with that. Alright, so... copy this, and this is where the game crashed before. There we go. So all this doesn't mean anything, but it gives us a starting point. So the CPU is 149,135. I believe that's correct. So first thing I'm going to do out of the gate is I need to get that 3D Mark score for the baseline. And I hate to put you all through this again, but there's no way to just... There is a mod that's available on the Steam Workshop where somebody wrote some type of API or something to where this thing could auto-complete. and give you, I hope, reliable results. I mean, as far as what the game's telling you based upon your configuration and how it's optimized. But I haven't downloaded that yet. I would also like to have a mod that has customizable shopping lists where you can just have standing order. But I realize that's not how it works in real life. In real life, if I was running a PC repair shop or was doing custom builds, I would have to literally research every part and order it from the cheapest seller. So it is actually much faster because you have a single sale point in this game. Shop, even though there is a separate store you have to go to at a separate website in the game to do custom water cooling. So it is easier than what it would be in real life. I mean, if I was going to build my own machine, yeah, I would be looking at cases brand new and getting the best deal. There's no reason not to. I would just be, from what I saw online earlier today, I would just be very cautious of. So this is interesting. This is a much worse baseline. This is very interesting. I'm going to see if I can improve this. But I'm already in a hole because I changed my motherboard. So it's 149, 135. So let's overclock the CPU first, which will require entering BIOS. Help if I fucking turn the machine back on. X and P's enabled. Alright, so what we have is 149, 135 volts. So we're going to step this to 1.7. And we're going to incrementally bump this up. We're now 50. And we need to find our blue screen of death fail point. Make sure we don't have a throttled CPU. And if this temperature is close to what I had on the other motherboard, I don't like the fact that, honestly, I don't like the fact that I might go back to the Asus Tough board because I had better 3D Mark right out of the gate. All right, so right here at stepping up to 50, I'm at 7182 temp. How does that compare to? It's cooler. So the numbers are going to remain the same because it's the same CPU. It's just a different motherboard. So I'm going to go straight to 53 on this one. We can overclock the GPU from directly within the operating system. Here we have to be in BIOS for overclocking the CPU. So we're just going to step this straight to 53. See if we cook it. Yep. All right, so this is not good. Even though I'm thermal throttled, that's not acceptable. This is not a good motherboard. Even though I can do the vertical mount, this is not a good motherboard. Fuck. I wonder if I go back to the Asus motherboard, I have to pay $100 for same day delivery. Gaming Pro Carbon. That's really the only difference. I bet you if I'm gonna save the game, I want to go back to the Asus Tough motherboard. This is save scumming. Get my 70s porn music. What you doing, kitty? You want to say hi? Huh? You want to come say hi? Come on, sweetheart. Come on. You want to say hi to everybody? Yes, you do. You know you do. Don't scratch me. She's my baby girl. 10 years old. Say hi. Say hi. Hey, kitty. Safe scum. Don't rip daddy's shirt, okay? Alright, so save. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a same day purchase. I want to go back to the board that I did buy. I'm going to order it and buy it right now. It's just going to cost me $100 for same day delivery. Come over here, pick it up. 3 boxes for 1 motherboard. What the? Alright. So we'll see what happens. Thermal throttle. Not acceptable. Sorry to put you all through this, but I need to know what's going on here. Now the other thing I could do is, what happens if I front mount the radiator before I do anything else? Will that make a change? Install PC parts. Now I'm going to have 3 extra fans. Put 2 on the top. Heat is the enemy of a gaming PC. Any machine, actually. Cannot put another fan in here, so we need to cable manage this. Nudie Newts, thank you very much for that raid. I greatly appreciate that. Hopefully you are having a fantastic day. We are going to put out the little smiley face things. This is a fun game. There's actually a new one called PC Building Simulator 2 that is only currently available on the Epic Game Store. I guess it's still under an exclusivity contract with them. This is the original. And what I'm doing right now is I am changing the orientation of my Kraken AIO to see if it will change my 3D Mark score, because I went to a different motherboard and I didn't like the results. So this is what we scored here. 8442, which is not the same as what the original motherboard for this build was. When I tested it this morning, I came up... Actually, is that wrong? That can't be right. No, 7153, so that's significantly less, but that was a vertically mounted AIO. So I'm going to go with a horizontal AIO on the same motherboard and see what the 3D Mark score is going to be. Oh yeah, it does go that deep. You can overclock CPUs through BIOS, you can overclock RAM, you can overclock GPUs through the operating system. Now, it should be interesting. This is running substantially worse. Why? What's wrong with my... It's ready to boot. All right, I'm going to kill 3D Mark. I'm going to look at stress test. Run a 30-second stress test. I shouldn't be thermal throttling. I'm going to thermal throttle because I didn't put... Yep, I know exactly what I did. Dumbass. Didn't put thermal paste on the AIO. Uther, why'd you let me do that? Alright, thermal paste. Duh! Alright, so go back to the horizontal mount. Cabled up. Box it up. Alright, so let's go ahead and power it on and try to get that benchmark again. I figured you would enjoy it. Yeah, it was hot. It was so hot. I enjoyed it so much. Alright, so 7153 was our first baseline on 3D Mark. Because we changed motherboards to get a horizontal, a top mount. Now we're doing a side mount, and I'm going to re-benchmark this. And if not, we're just going to swap the motherboard, go back and validate that it is a better 3D Mark. What in the hell is wrong with this? Alright, we need to stress test it. This will only take 30 seconds. I just want to make sure the CPU doesn't throttle. Okay, I know what's wrong. We need to go back to baseline, which is 49. Go into the BIOS. CPU overclock. We need to step this back down to 1.35 volts, and it was step 49. I don't want to do factory reset here because that'll reset everything. I'm going to validate through the stress test program that it doesn't thermal throttle, and then I'm going to do the 3D mark to see if I get an improvement. And then if it doesn't improve, then it's the motherboard. Alright, that's a good curve. 62 Celsius. We're good. I don't need to wait for this to finish. It would have thermal throttled, so we're going to see what we can do now. Alright, that's running much better now. I think when I wrap the stream up, I'm going to check the Steam Workshop for the mod that auto completes 3D Mark. Because this does take, I think, a full minute. What you doing, kitten? My little kitty cat sitting to the right of me watching me stream. You're such a sweet little girl. Yes, you are. Don't look at me like I'm insane. I know I'm talking to my monitor. That's all you see. Nudie, I hope you had a great stream today, and again, thank you very much for the raid. I do appreciate it. I do think some of the stuff in this whatever this demo is here is really cool looking, like some of the space alien stuff. And if I did have a high-end rig modeled in this video game, it would run much smoother than this. Some of this looks like Halo crap. Alright, so I don't think the mounting has a lick of difference other than aesthetics. And the reason why I say that is because we still have the 7153. It's the same exact benchmark, so it's the motherboard is what's killing us here. And I went with the new motherboard simply because I didn't like having to be forced into that, but this is just not going to work. So we're going to rip everything out. I want the higher benchmark, that way I can do a decent CPU overclock and BIOS. And we're just going to live with this vertical configuration, or this front mount, the radiator. And then I'm just going to sell this motherboard on another build if I can get away with it. Alright. Kick the MSI to the curb. No need to look at it now, at your leisure. Huh. Alright. So OBS, you're not doing me any favors here. Check this out. Bioware giving up on Drag. What? No. No way. They put way too much money into that game to be giving up on it. I do know they announced, I think it was day of release, that there would be no DLC for it. I mean, who does that? That was strange. So we're going back to the Asus Z370 Pro, which is going to force us into a front configuration. We can use the same, excuse me, CPU. Make sure I put thermal paste on it. got to put the memory in slots 2 and 4. Got that there. We're going to put our storage back, which should still have our operating system on it. I shouldn't have to go through that anymore. Now we need graphics card. AIO is going to be front mounted. At least the Kraken. I did see something on YouTube earlier today where the same team that did Veilguard is going to start working on Mass Effect 5. I've never completed any of the Mass Effect games. I do have the Legendary Edition. Thanks, Gabe Newell, for Steam for putting it on sale and making me bloat my library with it. Game that I've yet to finish. Incomplete case. I know it's a controversial game. It just looks weird. It looks weird to me because everything I've seen about Veilguard, if you remove the characters, which look like Fortnite characters to me, the UI is too much purple. The characters look like they're from Fortnite, but it's weird because if you remove the characters from the game and just look at the game world itself, the game world looks fantastic. It looks like we're talking like Elden Ring level of detail. You would think that it would have a dark and gritty UI, a dark and gritty character model with properly sized heads. And I'm not talking about the Quinari. They're supposed to look like that. But the characters look like they're from a different video game overlaid into that game. It would be like if you took Fortnite characters and put them in Skyrim. It's a disconnect. So change the motherboard. We are going to go into BIOS just to make sure we don't have to overclock RAM again, which we do. We need to enable XMP. It's going to boot. Now this drive, this M.2 should have our operating system on it, so everything should still be there. Yep, boom, right there. All right, so now to prove a point, we should now be able to get to this 3D Mark score. 8378. So this was the original baseline. No, okay, there we go. Thank goodness. So this was with the MSI thing. We're not going to do that again. This one, I use the Asus. So this is what I need to verify. I want to see an 8378 in 3D Mark. I've been watching, who is it? Co-Carnage has been streaming Dragon Age Veilguard on Twitch. But it's weird because he's not happy with the game. So one day he'll stream Veilguard, the next day he'll stream Dragon Age Origins. It's a game I've never played before until this morning. I installed Dragon Age Origins because, you know, thanks Gabe Newell and your Steam sales. Had it for well over a year. I installed it and woo, it is a game from 2010, actually a year before Skyrim, and does not age well. Yeah. Mm. So giving up on Veilguard, that's it's not a Concord level of disappointment where they just shut the game down. They're going to leave the game up because it's single player. But I also saw something or watched something where somebody said that they had designed the game Veilguard with multiplayer live service. It got so much backlash before release that they removed that from the game and went back to it being a single player only game. But some people are saying that some of the bones are still what?
Liquid cool from the top to the floor. Gotta keep that heat down. Yo, the power is roll. First the CPU that's
How am I getting the same exact
overclocked Molly call latest released. It powers all things with the greatest of ease.
score?
Powered clock speeds. Next up comes the random access memory. Yo, minimum 64 gig, invest heavily. Choose a named brand. It's free
What?
pedigree. You'll notice the change in performance incredibly.
Yo, I got these games where I gotta store 'em.
Solid state discs full.
So was this 8378 a mirage?
Discs, you know I'm filling 'em. Gotta think through each component decision. Build in the ultimate
So none of this mattered.
vision.
What's system info say?
To apps to disk utilities.
Same CPU.
Construct this beast to the best of my abilities. You know, great graphics don't come for free.
What's
For my GPU,
okay? Why would you show it like this? Oh, okay. Here we go.
synchronous. Yo, I told you
Same
this stuff
CPU. Motherboard is the Z370.
there were better choices. Yo, I must have missed them. Fill the case up with LEDs. Something obnoxious, red, pink, or green.
You know what this has to be? I got an 8378 score this morning with this exact same build because of something called binning.
Through each component decision.
And it's something they modeled in the game
Build in the ultimate
that is supposed to replicate in some fashion what actually occurs
to disk
in real life. That you can get
to the best of
build 10 computers with the same components from the same run, production run, assembled the same exact way, which is technically not possible. I mean, it's just human error can be introduced at any point. But let's say in a perfect vacuum, you had 10 machines, they had all the same parts, assembled all the same way. They're not going to yield the same results in benchmarking because of something called binning. And I only vaguely understand it in that there's variations in chipsets. You can have an i7 9700K on a Z370 Pro Gaming with the same RAM. Did I use the same RAM? Yeah, Patriot Viper Steel Series, same RAM. So the only way to prove this would be to build the same exact machine again. And run 3D Mark. But I'm chasing a ghost because even if I do prove this, it's not going to change anything that I have this rig that I have to work with. So I have to work with what I have. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with what we have. So none of this matters. We're going to go back to what we wanted to do, which was the vertical mount. It's going to require us to rip everything out again. I'm perfectly fine with that. We're gonna go back to the MSI board. So it had nothing to do with the motherboard. It had, I think it really comes down to binning, part binning. All right, so we're gonna remove. No, actually that stays there because we're gonna need vertical mount. So motherboard, we're gonna go back. Actually, no, it doesn't. We're gonna remove that. So we want our top-mounted AIO, which is the reason why we bought this MSI Gaming Pro Carbon in the first place. We're just going to go with it. We're going to work with what we have. What is it? Donald Rumsfeld said back during the Iraq War, you go to war with what you have, not what you want. I don't think a lot of mothers were happy with that comment, but it was the truth. Actually, I gotta say that music's kind of relaxing. So this is going to be our baseline build. Top-mounted AIO. It is what it is. Storage. Go back there. Video card. I did not get that. Who is that? Bedesk. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you very much for that. I do greatly appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. That was a follow, not a raid, dumbass. Thank you for the follow. I do appreciate that. We're going to go with the graphics card. This is all price pointed. Cable. All right, so we're going to cable this up. We're going to re-benchmark it, and then we're going to overclock it based upon not what I thought it should have been based upon what I did this morning. We're going to go based upon what's actually in front of us right now. Complete case, PC part, go there, go there, go there. So again, I do believe binning is modeled in the game, and I think that's what I'm up against here. So RAM overclock, XMP enabled, CPU. We're going to start with stepping to 50.70. Actually, you know what? We need to benchmark it. What you doing, Ollie? You want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? Come on, baby. Oh. This is God Solly, one of my other cats. My baby Puma. What you doing? Daddy's up here talking to a monitor. I'm crazy, aren't I? Insane. I'm building imaginary computers. Yeah, I'm playing a video game about building a computer that plays a video game. Uh-huh. I know. We're gonna put you over here. Come on, big boy. Interestingly enough, the second game in this series, PC Building Simulator 2, which is only available on Steam. I mean, Epic Game Store right now, excuse me. They actually have a game in there, a mini game that you can play on your game. So we should be good. We're going to stress test it. just to make sure we don't have any thermal throttling. Could have swore I put thermal paste on it, but yeah, we put thermal paste on it. It would have throttled by now. So we're gonna run 3D Mark, get that benchmark. I'm gonna suspect that it's gonna hit This is bad information now, so we're just going to get rid of it because I think binning is affecting me here. So we're looking for 7153, and we'll start working with that. You having a good day today, buddy? You having a good day today? Hmm? And to further the insanity that I have, I'm sitting here watching a program simulate benchmarking an imaginary computer. That's how crazy this is. That's how crazy this is, little kitten. I know you're no longer a kitten, you're a big guy kitty. You'll be my baby boy. You're always my baby boy. I'm not going to run another 3D Mark until I overclock the CPU. Yep, 7153. That's what we're looking at. 6896, 976. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and start stepping. We're going to go to a 50. We're just going to do it incrementally. Start with 50. All right, CPU, we're going to up the voltage to 1.7. Step to 50. Apply changes and restart. Why do you gotta be all the way over here? I hit yes, didn't I? Guess not. We could be all the way over here, huh? Why can't you be over here? This is where your little comfortable thing is. So have you given up on Kingmaker? No, I have not given up on Kingmaker. Current status of Kingmaker is number 1, the game's uninstalled. Number 2, it's in my avoid category on my Steam library. Number 3, I fucking hate it. Number 4, the game sucks. But number 5, I will be playing it again later today at some point. So the issue I was having, we're gonna go ahead and make sure this doesn't thermal throttle at 50. The issue I'm having with Kingmaker is it's grotesquely unbalanced. I'm at the last... I'm basically at the house at the edge of time, or whatever it's called. The place where you're supposed to battle Narissa at the end of the game. And you go through all these different floors, these different levels, and it's just the encounters are so unbalanced. They introduced this enemy type very near the end of the game called the Wild Hunt. And one particular character of the Wild Hunt is called the Wild Hunt Monarch, which is a motherfucker to battle. Plus he spawns archers and all this other shit. And you know this because you've completed Kingmaker, that you have to have the correct party composition, the correct spellbook configuration, and you have to it's almost like each encounter is a puzzle that you have to solve. Not only environmental puzzles, raise this sword, lower that sword, press this button over here, have somebody stand on this switch over there. Not only have those puzzles, but every fucking encounter in the game is a puzzle. You can't just come up, and I get it. There's not a build that says, okay, this is the best party composition, this is the best set of spells you can configure, and wipe the map. For a large part of the game, you can do that. But there are certain situations where only specific spells will work. Only specific trinkets will work. I don't know about that. All I know is I got at the end of the game and there was a... Okay, you're really being a dickhead now, Cat. I got towards the end of the game and there was a swarm of bugs that just completely ass-raped me. So, party wipe level. So to verify that it was complete horseshit, I backed the game down, the game settings down to easy mode. Not only did I back it down to easy mode, all the sliders were in my favor. Lowest damage enemies dealt, highest damage I dealt, what have you. And I still got party wiped on these two swarms of bugs. I had to go back to a save that was like 3 weeks old. Did you do the religious management actions? I don't know what religious management actions are. All I know is that the only thing that didn't work in the game, and it's because my game was bugged, is that I completed the Varnhold's Lot DLC. And after you complete the DLC, you meet Megr Varn in a dungeon. And you encounter some enemies. And then at some point he says he's leaving. But there's 2 other rooms in the dungeon that you're supposed to explore. I explored the other 2 rooms in the dungeon. It's a place called Loslarn Keep. And then we're going to step to 51 on the next test. And then after you exit that dungeon, you encounter a goblin merchant. And everything that I've read indicates that if you did it correctly, once you leave that dungeon, explore the other 2 rooms in the dungeon, encounter the goblin merchant on the road, that at some point Megr Varn will come back to your capital and meet you in your capital. He'll come to the throne room. In my game, he never came to the throne room. I've researched it online. I read Reddit threads. I've watched YouTube videos. And basically it comes down to is if you explored the other 2 rooms in that dungeon and you encountered the goblin merchant and you advance a sufficient amount of days, no one can say how many days it was. I advanced the game almost an entire fucking year and he never showed. I also went back to the dungeon, Loslarn Keep, to verify he wasn't there anymore. He's not. What is there in the bottom left of the dungeon is my character from the DLC. Now, I don't know if you remember from the DLC, but you don't play as your base game character in the DLC. You have to create a new character that gets led around by Megr in the DLC. Your character's called the General. My General was in the dungeon, could not be interacted with. And everything I've read online was if you go back to the dungeon with Megr Varn doesn't show up in your capital and you go back to the dungeon and he's not there, but your general from the game is there and cannot be interacted with, then the game's bugged. And that's exactly the condition that I had. So I was in a situation where I completed the DLC. I explored the last 2 rooms of the dungeon. He said he'd meet me in my capital. I left the dungeon. I encountered the goblin merchant along the road on the way back. All the checkpoints you're supposed to hit. Advanced the game a fucking year, and he never showed. At that point, I was just like, this is horse shit. I knew it was never going to be fixed. Partly because I knew it was never going to be fixed, because Owlcat Games no longer has the rights to Pathfinder Kingmaker. So they can't even work on the game anymore. The people who bought it for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, they're in a much worse situation. Owlcat lost the ability to work on the Xbox console versions of the game long before they lost the rights to the PC version. So I don't know if you know this, but about a month ago, I fired up Kingmaker because I was trying to get through the game. I really like the game when it works. I really like the game when the game's fair. I don't mind a challenge. I don't mind getting party wiped. What I mind is getting ass raped by just difficulty spikes that make no sense whatsoever. So, about a month ago, I fired up the game, and then I got this new EULA that I had to agree to from some company called My.Games. They bought the game from a company called Deep Silver. So not only that Owlcat doesn't even own it anymore, the publisher Deep Silver even sold it to somebody else. So right now, the only thing that Owlcat Games can work on is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which they still own. It's still in their wheelhouse. And I think they did Warhammer Rogue Trader or something like that. I don't know. So we bumped this up to step 51. So we're going to be stable here. 82.18. That's all I care about. 82.23. I'll wait for it to finish. Now, the fact that he never came back to my capital, I don't think has anything to do with the difficulty I'm having at the end of the game. It just is what it is. So we're stable, not thermal throttling at 51 megahertz. So we're going to go ahead and step up to 52. Go back in the BIOS. I love playing the game when it's fair. I love watching people stream the game. Now, I've watched people stream that last dungeon fighting Narissa, and they have the correct party composition. They have the correct this, that, and the other. You'll have people say, "Oh, just get a kineticist. Use the twins, Cupcake and whatever her name is, the two that can switch between each other. Make sure you have them. You leveled them up this way and that way." Nobody's got time for that shit. You go to the bar in the city, and the dude in the bar, Nora 8 Eyes, whoever, only gives you 3 free respecs. So even if you did have the correct character sheet, you're only playing somebody else's character and what they think is best. And yeah, you can watch a YouTube video and see somebody on hard difficulty just roll that dungeon with these people. So obviously it works. But at a certain point, you're like, the grind is real. I don't want to do that grind anymore. I had to set it aside. So for me, setting the game aside is basically uninstalling it, putting it in the void category, and saying, fuck you, I'm done. Until I reinstall it. No, that's how it rolls. Some video games are just not fair, you know that?
It's like having a mouse toy on the ground that you can't reach because you're too lazy to get up because you're too fat. And when you stretch for it, it's just out of your reach. Does that upset you? I know it upset me.
Oh, and as far as the Varnhold's Lot DLC, it sucked balls. It absolutely sucked balls. I hated it. If I had known that it would be that bad, I would have not bought it. I didn't buy it. I bought the enhanced edition of Pathfinder Kingmaker. And credit to you, the only reason I bought Pathfinder Kingmaker because I loved watching you stream it. And I'm like, man, that game looks fucking fun. But what I don't remember from your streams is how you finished the game. I don't remember you rage quitting it, so you clearly did a better job at the game than I did. But the Varnhold's Lot DLC sucked balls. Number one, you go through the entire game, the main game, leading your team. You go to a situation where you're playing a DLC that not only do you not have your main character, you got to start a new save to create a character, and then that character gets led around by Maegor Varn. You can't go here or go there. He leads the party for the majority of it. And it's horribly unbalanced. The same issues that I'm having with the main game happened in the DLC. And what it comes down to is I honestly think that Act 1 and Act 2 of Kingmaker are they're solid. I never thought I'd do that on stream. Shoot me if I ever do that again. But starting with Act 3 of Kingmaker, especially when the Wild Hunt starts appearing on Bald Hilltop, fuck that game. It's horseshit. It's like they just started throwing shit just to make the game insanely difficult. All right, 9259 I think is really where I'm going to be. 9259. So we're not going to push it. I'm going to thermal throttle. So we're not going to go there. That's a bridge too far. So now we need to get new specs here before I start upgrading, overclocking the GPU. But because I'm using the same GPU, I should be able to go straight to that. We're going to do this. Then go back to the main. I am back to the main game. I completed the Varnhold's Lot DLC. There's literally nothing more I can do. I can go back to Varnhold and nobody's there except a merchant and one character. And when I check on the character, they're like, oh yeah, the city guard's doing fine. Thank you for your support. It's my territory. I can claim resources in Varnhold's Lot and whatnot. But Maegor's not there. But again, I don't know what meeting him and if that bug is... It's not affecting me advancing in the game anymore. I can advance to the final boss. I just can't get battle through the final boss, even on easy mode. It's so unbalanced that even on the easiest setting of the game, I get party wiped. And I'm like, yes, there's a specific party composition, specific set of spells, specific order that you buff, specific first, second, and third spells you deploy to allow you to then play tactically to beat the game, to beat the scenarios. I get that. I just get to the point where I need to take a break from the game. I'll pick it up in the future. I'll do all that stuff that needs to be done, and we'll go from there. All that, and this is all I danced. I went from a 9076 to a 9471. All right, so since I'm using the same GPU, should be able to, and I can do this in the operating system. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the GPU tuner. We're going to go to the stress test. This time we're going to put it on infinite loop. Make sure our CPU doesn't throttle. All right, we're good. So what we're going to do here is GPU. We're going to up the core voltage to 120. And then we're just going to go to 2082. Straight to the horse's mouth. $350, 2083, and we'll see what happens. Holy fuck. 7556. Really? So I didn't test any of this stuff. I went straight to 2083. We're just gonna get rid of all this crap. This is not even useful. So I might actually be good here. 7569 Celsius. I'm just gonna push it. Can I max the core clock to the point I can start doing memory clock? I've never been able to do memory clocking. How is that? Something. Different video card, probably. Again, I'm not gonna try to figure out what's going on. This is gonna work with what I have. So 2200, 120, 1251 megahertz. See if it blows it up. Puts me to 9168. You need to address the kingdom problems to better deal with the hilltop. I defeated all the hilltop encounters. I've done all of that. I got to the end of the game and went all the way to the left of the map to where Nerissa's compound is, to the end game. There is no more bald hilltop. I've defeated all of that. As fucking crazy as it was. Alright, so I cannot max core clock anymore, but I'm almost at that. So what I'm going to do here, wait a minute, did I get that correctly? 2200. Yeah, 2200. So we're going to do 2200, 120. Never done memory clock before, so we're going to go in 10-minute increment, 10 megahertz increments. All right, so we're going to actually go 50. 13, should be 1311. Yep, 1311. See if it cooks it. No. The game drove me crazy with Personal Quest and Kingdom Quest. It did seem like you were playing two separate games. You had the exploring the map, fighting the dungeons, fighting the random encounters, and then you had this bolted on kingdom management game that you had cards and advisors, and I thought it was cool when you got to the point where you upgraded your kingdom to a city and all of a sudden it was no longer this dilapidated fucking pig pen. It was this massive kingdom of concrete castles and shit. That was really cool. I like that.
Construct this beast to the best of my abilities.
No way. Really? I think I'm going to leave it here and re-benchmark this. Yeah, no CPU throttle. We're good. Time to benchmark this. Call it a day. Steam news. I will check that out. Actually, in terms of programming, after I do this benchmark and log it, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap my stream up today, because I do need to make a trip to Wally World, get some cat litter, and I do want to check Uther's stream out. So, shameless plug again right there. That is where I will be this afternoon. Consuming copious amounts of adult beverages at the appropriate time. But I will peruse the links that you've so graciously been posting. Dutiful follower of the stream. SteamPower.com game recording. Interesting. I wonder if that's just straight up game recording or if that is meant to be a challenge to OBS in terms of broadcasting. Pump the social media stuff out. Discord on every single day. There's X. These numbers aren't like, these aren't great numbers. Not really impressed with these numbers. I guess I'm trying to hit just... I did go from 68.96 to 83.57. So there's that. So, what did I accomplish with this? 23.57 resale value. That is not the best. I went through all that to get a 3D Mark score of 8507. I've gotten better 3D Mark scores. So like here, a custom water cool bill, I can hit 10,000. It's a $3,500 build. In terms of mass producing a game, I mean a computer, can this run Doom? No, because I have an 8 gigabyte card. I can do recommended specs for Doom. That's going to be problematic. Bush Flight. Far Cry 5. So, the video card is clearly going to be my issue here. So in terms of this being a build, it works in the context of the game, keeping in mind the game is still skewed at 2020 and not current day. So an 8 gigabyte GTX 1080. I mean, it's better in the card. I actually have my real computer that I'm streaming this game on. I have a GTX 1070, 8 gigabyte, non-Founders Edition. It's an MSI card. So, but even back then, 4 years ago, in terms of what the game models, it is, it can't keep up with the games that the customers are buying. So we're going to go ahead and save the game. Do I want to stream any of this content? Actually, I'm going to watch that off stream. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, bring it back up to the title screen. Everybody, thank you for stopping in. Nudie Newts, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the follow. I need to look at Twitch activity. I'm going to butcher that name. Extra Life. Thank you for the follow. I do appreciate that as well. Again, I believe Uther is going to be streaming in about 2 hours time, Eastern Standard Time. I will be over there checking out his playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. I might be putting in Divinity of Original Sin 2 as an alternative to Pathfinder Kingmaker. I just need to take a couple weeks off that game. I do want to finish it, but again, my current configuration of my party and the spells we use is just not cutting it, so I need to... And I don't want to invest a bunch of time right now because that aspect of the game is super grindy. But super props to you, Uther, for pushing through and completing that, because I don't think you gave up on that game. I don't necessarily remember it. I'm going to have to check your YouTube channel to see if you posted any videos about that playthrough. I'll check that out for reference, definitely, if they're up there. Well, when am I going to stream again? It'd probably be tomorrow. It might be PC Building Simulator. As I mentioned to Uther, I currently have almost 20 games installed on this rig right now. Which, again, it sucks. I have to upgrade to Windows 11 because I have to get a new computer to upgrade to Windows 11 because Microsoft's trying to force me to buy a new computer because, you know, planned obsolescence and all that bullshit. That's not conspiracy theory. That shit is actually happens in the market. So, anyway, that being said, everybody, thank you very much for stopping by. I do greatly appreciate it. Have a fantastic and safe weekend. Drink, do not drive. Stay home. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. I will catch you all next time. Ranger out.